I would try and get Chase Young. I would try and get Chase Young, and if that man moving up, move up. Is there any chance that the draft is going to fall to them and Chase Young will be available at 3? There's a chance. There's a chance. Ticket text 97136. How important are receivers when guys like AB and Dez are out there doing nothing? No receiver at number 3. That ticket text is in response to what I saw yesterday, which was some social media traffic saying that Jerry Jeudy should be the pick at 3. And I was surprised by that. Look, I'm willing to consider anything given the fact that it's so early. I mean, right now I've seen more of CeeDee Lamb, and I like CeeDee Lamb better, but that could change. And Jerry Jeudy is more widely regarded as the better of the two players at wide receiver. But when they kind of secured 3, I got done watching the game, and I go on Twitter, and I saw Jerry Jeudy stuff. I was like, that's interesting. So I did not expect that.
There's some truth to that text about, how much do you need a really, really good receiver to win a Super Bowl or win playoff games. But in a draft situation, I think this is one thing I agree with Bob Quinn is you have to mix best player available and need. There's got to be some kind of mix. If the talent gap between the receiver and the next defensive player is that big, at 3 you can't just reach for a guy because you need that position. By the way, there is a need for receiver on the team. I mean, we've laid it out. Amendola's a free agent. Marvin Jones is on a 1-year deal, and he's getting older after this season. He's got 1 year left. Kenny Golladay has not yet been extended. I expect it to happen, but even if you do extend him, you've got one receiver long term. You're going to be looking for a receiver at some point, whether it's the first round, second round, or free agency. You're going to be looking for a receiver. So, like I said, depending on the gap between the receiver and the next best defensive player, that's where you got to do your talent evaluation, figure out which is, whether it's Okudah, the cornerback from Ohio State, or the next best defensive end if it's not Chase Young.
Everything we're doing right now is first impression, right?
Yeah.
My first impression is no to Jerry Jeudy, but I'm not planting a flag and screaming from mountaintops, don't do it. But my first impression is it doesn't make sense.
Listen, I understand the Lions did not win with Calvin Johnson, but if you told me this guy, Jerry Jeudy, is going to be Calvin Johnson, how do you pass on that? It's the NFL draft is such a crapshoot, you don't know. If I can guarantee you, which you can't, a Pro Bowl player at your pick, you got to take that Pro Bowl player. You know what I mean?
Yep.
As much as I hated the Hawkinson pick, if you would have told me he was going to be George Kittle, I would say, okay, then take him.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be George Kittle.
I'm kind of betting on it.
But you are definitely you're all in. He's got to be pretty damn good. Zach Ertz, Kittle, Kelsey, that good.
And Kittle is Kittle's probably the best in the game right now with Gronkowski. God, he's good. I like.
Oh, he's a beast.
A great tight end can change the game, man. And this quarterback, his best seasons in terms of wins and losses, the tight end was a huge part of the offense.
Yeah, so as much as I don't want a receiver at 3 overall, if the Lions end up getting the 3rd overall pick, I see the path to it, and I understand the reasoning if it were to happen.
Let's go to DJ in Redford. What's up, DJ?
Hey, what's going on, Doug? How are you?
Doing good.
Good. Okay, Doug, just hear me out. I got a crazy scenario, and I just want to tell me what you think will happen.
All right.
So let's say Cincinnati got the number 1 pick, right? A.J. Green, he's a vet. He's going to be gone. So let's say they get Jeudy, right?
Okay.
And the Lions got the number 2 pick, and you got Joe Burrow there. Do you not take him because you think Stafford is good for another year, so you trying to win now, you take Chase Young? Or do you go with Joe and let him season under Stafford for a year because he's a quarterback for the future?
Well, if the Lions are picking number 2, which means the Lions lose and Washington upsets Dallas, first of all, great. Secondly, if for some reason Joe Burrow and Chase Young are the decision, I go Chase Young. I've often talked about, look, I don't operate scared, but I also just look at the facts. There are, I think it's 27 first-round quarterbacks since Stafford was drafted. Only 2 of them, I would say, are elite. If we're going to call Patrick Mahomes elite, he would be one of them. Others could be trending in that direction, but it's too early to say. But I mean, it's tough, man. For every Patrick Mahomes, there's a Paxton Lynch. There's a Blake Bortles. There's an E.J. Manuel. Guys who were, went near the top of drafts since Stafford was taken. And it's tough, even if you have a high first-round pick. Now, that doesn't mean I shy away from a quarterback when you need one. I just don't see why you take a chance when you don't need one. And in my opinion, they don't need one. Clearly, if that's the baseline for my argument, you can see why I'd say don't draft one. The debate, of course, centers around whether or not they need one.
Okay, so would you be happy with this? Let's say this. Okay, so let's say number 2, we get Chase Young. Let's say Tua falls out the first round, and bam, he's there in the second round. Do we take him? Because you're going to need a quarterback for the future. You need a backup quarterback, just in case Stafford go down again. So do we take Tua in the second round if he's there? Would you be happy with that?
I mean, it depends. If he falls to the second round with a clean bill of health, which I think the only way he falls to the second round is if there are legitimate and massive health concerns. But if he falls to the second round and your doctors have cleared him, I would absolutely consider it as a pick for the future. But, I mean, I'd also like to see who else is on the draft board. It's a hard question to answer without knowing who else is on the board. It's also a hard question to answer because I can't see him being available in the second round and have a clean bill of health. 248-539-9797. All right, Champ and Chump, get those votes in. So we have just over an hour to go. Meanwhile, debate on the morning show. Khang and I are ready to go to fight over this. We'll get to what that debate is at 12:50. 97.1 The Ticket.